Canyon and Judge Sean Hopkins.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, could you give us a bio about yourself, please, sir?
Sure.
Just put that in the middle.
Yeah, there. I've been a resident of Clark County my whole life. I've lived in North Las Vegas for the past 10 years. I went to school locally. I went to college out of state to Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, where I got a bachelor's degree in sociology and a minor in psychology. Upon my graduation from Loyola Marymount, I joined the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. It was a very, in a strange way, good learning experience that you can't always take people at face value. That you have to look beyond that license plate and all that stuff. And but as to hold it against community at large, I never felt that way. This was one juvenile who committed one error, a big grievous error. I do agree with you, but I felt that justice was served. He was arrested. He was taken to court. The decision to let him plea out, that was one for the district attorney. I had my input for it, and that was the decision they made.
Anybody that tries to take a police officer's life will try to take anybody's life because they have no ramifications for authority. I mean that's just given. I mean, didn't you think that? I know you're not the one that did the plea deal, but I'm sure you could have probably pushed for him to stay in prison longer. Didn't you think that if he tried to kill you, he would try to kill a little old lady down the street?
Oh, I agree, and as we see now, subsequently, he did. And so, I mean,
why didn't you push for this guy to serve the max behind bars?
I was, to tell you the truth, the backstory with that was I wasn't even subpoenaed by the district attorney when that preliminary hearing was going to occur. I received a phone call from the district attorney's office probably halfway through the hearing, through his prelim, before he took that deal, where they said, well, if you don't appear, and we're sorry we didn't subpoena you, but if you do not appear, we're going to dismiss the case, and he's going to walk free. And I said, well, that's not,
Wow.
exactly. And I said, I will be down there, and I showed up, and I had a very big argument about not being notified about any of that. And then that's when she came out and told me, she said, hey, well, look, we have a plea agreement on the table, this is what we're looking at, things like that. And I said, well, I can't believe you didn't, follow through with the attempt murder charges, but if that's your decision as the DA, and that's a decision you guys are going to have to live with.
What's the name of the DA?
Really,
I can tell you that off after the interview if you'd like to know, sir.
Paul Jackson.
In the interest of time, I really don't have a comment, but I really don't have a question, I have a comment. I've got to be honest, gentlemen, you make this decision incredibly hard. On one hand, we have a well-recognized judge with a great reputation, obviously somebody who's thoughtful about what they're charged with doing and proceeding in the best possible way. And sir, I'm actually happy my tax dollars go to pay your salary. On the other hand, we have somebody with unique experiences. Your experience as a police officer, your experience as a parole officer, your experience as a prosecutor and defender leads me to believe, as a judge, you would be able to tell the difference between a 17 or 18-year-old who made a mistake and a 17-year-old or 18-year-old who just got caught for the first time and is on their way to a career path. And I commend you both, sirs. And to be honest with you, Ms. Canyon, if you lose this election, I certainly hope that you don't let it stop you and you try to become a judge in another jurisdiction or in another opportunity. But sir, Your Honor, your reputation precedes you. You're well known to me, and you've served this community well, and I thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
And I thank you for your service as well.
V. Carson.
I just have a quick question. You kind of answered this question, Christopher. But with your experience, it's hard for me to feel that you wouldn't have any kind of revenge, or does that have any part in the reason why you decided to become a judge? Because of your experiences?
based on my experiences on the street, is that,
Being a police officer and also your personal experience with the young man, I know that we keep repeatedly talking about this, but, you know, it's kind of hard, you know, being a human being, if that happened to me, I think I would, as a human, feel some kind of anger, you know, of some sort, and that would make me want to go into a field where I can stop people from doing that. So does that play any part in you becoming a judge or wanting to become a judge?
I guess not a sense of revenge that, you know, I would get up on the bench and then it's time for me to wield my gavel and put everybody away and teach them a lesson. But I think my experiences have shaped me. I mean, being law enforcement my whole life, I think they have shaped me. And like I said before, I think that is a desire to help the community at a higher level. I mean, as I said before, when we began the interview, I think as a police officer, you impact people's lives on one call, one shift basis. Where as a judge, you can impact the community as a whole with your decisions from the bench. And seeing that makes me want to make one step higher.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And Judge, I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Yeah.
I have a kind of a short two-part question for you. One of my questions is, you know, working in an area where, you know, part of the community is very low income. My question is, when you have traffic situations, you know, what kind of alternative programs do you have available to people in the North Las Vegas area who have maybe not paid their tickets because they can't afford it or they're barely, you know, making it by? What kind of alternatives do you have to going to jail? And we know that the North Las Vegas jails are crowded.
Yeah.
So what kind of programs or what kind of alternatives do you have for those who are in that area?
Okay, so your question pertains just to like traffic.
Yes.
Well, you know, when someone agrees to accept a fine when they come into court, typically they're offered the option to go to traffic school to get the points off their license if it's not a serious type of traffic violation. And the first thing we do is we set up a payment plan for them. Typically, the payment amount is based on how much they owe. So if they owe thousands of dollars, we try to set it as high as we can, maybe get it paid off within a year or so. But the first thing they always say, Your Honor, I can't afford that. I'm only making minimum wage or part-time. What we have through our program service is we have a community service program that they can apply for, and once it's been approved, they can be sent to a nonprofit organization where they can go and do community service. In fact, this facility here is one of the places we send people.
Even if it's a warrant? And they try to pay their ticket?
Well, typically we try to stop that before, because we always explain to them, if you're going to have a problem with making your payments, please come to the courthouse, tell them your situation, provide some proof of your financial situation, so if they've got bills or things like that, and then once the staff looks at that, they approve them for community service, and we actually give people the highest rate for community service. We give $10 an hour rate towards their fines, and we bend over backwards, not for people to go into warrant, because of the issue you brought up, the overcrowd of the jail. We either want them to either pay their fines or do community service for their community. And I think we have over 300 nonprofits in the valley that we associate with that could be directed to do their community service program. And then we have, when they do fall behind, we put them into, we have Judicial Enforcement Division, which people make phone calls, they send courtesy cards saying, hey, missed your payment, come down and talk to us. And then, so we try to give people an opportunity. And then even when it goes into warrant, our Marshal Division, they're community service oriented, in the sense that they call the person before they get down there to arrest them and say, hey, what can we do to take care of this warrant? And the Marshal usually explains their options to them, and usually with a couple $100 they can get a new court date, and then we get them back on track with their payments. So those are the things, because I think we have maybe 450 beds available to the city court in our jail. Last year, just in traffic, Judge Lanchute and I had 30,000 cases just last year, 30,000 charges. We don't have room to put people in jail for fines. We want them to succeed in either paying off their financial obligation. And that community service program is a great program.